Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Hunter Houston ESG podcast. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, whoa, is this one mic on? Or is it this mic right here? Sometimes I forget. I feel like I come into a little loud, or I don't come in loud enough sometimes. And like, mics suck. But hopefully you hear me fine tonight. So before we get going, let's give a shout out to the Residence Daryl Show on YouTube. Let's give a shout out to the PlayStation Ain't Dead. And of course, I'm going to make a something for today, and that is Apollyon 2000 XX Lay Yeast or Least We Forget. And you're asking, well, what is that? Well, if you remember one of my previous interviews, it'd be nice if I learned how to speak English. That's my second language. Uh, Technically, it is. But no, I did an interview with Joshua Adams, and he is one of the creators of the comic book. And this is their second installment of that said comic book. So support your local comic book or independent comics. And I did put in the description a link to where you can go and donate for them to get that off the ground for their Kickstarter. Hopefully, they've reached their goal and they can get that out, get that printed, get it sent out to people all over the world. Because we want to make sure independent comic book people, not just mainstream people like Eric July, who I like and who has sold more comics than he possibly should, being a new guy on the scene and making friends with a lot of old people from DC Comics, so forth and so on. But again, let's support the little guys like Joshua Adams from Apollyon 2000 XX, and was it Patrick Hickey, which is not really a little guy, but technically. And you got to support artists. Now, speaking of artists, there's a guy who just recently passed away who was an artist in the of cinematography and an artist in one of the best ways possible. That in particular dude is David Lynch. Now, for those who don't know who David Lynch is, he's made some really great works of art. His most memorable performances would be Eraserhead, Twin Peaks, and there's many vast other movies. But my favorite, because I am what's called a mark or a clown. Mark, if you're familiar with the wrestling industry or just some industries in general, where it's like I'm an easy mark for certain things, is Dune from Frank Herbert. And this was the second or the third edition of trying to get Dune made, and he got it made. Now, did he make mistakes? Yes. I think the principle of the script and how he wrote that script, uh, because the movie is already what the movie is, but the script in general, when you're screenwriting and then directing, how you want to direct it and the way he did it. And again, the budget wasn't as big as it should have been for that particular movie. Sorry, I am thirsty, and this is unbelievably good. Uh, Not tea, but it's like an energy drink kind of thing, but it's a natural energy drink. So it's like he's high on goofballs. No, it's just an energy drink. Um, so David Lynch, and here's why I say the Dune movie is so great. There's a young Patrick Stewart in the movie. For those who don't know who Patrick Stewart is, he has been the voice over of many different movies. He's been in like a gazillion movies, and he's always looked like an old dude. So if you always looked old, when you finally get old, it's like, he's been old forever. That's no big deal. But he plays Gurney in the movie, and he probably in his like his freaking 20s or mid 20s or whatever. But he looks so old, and this is before he got like his gig at Star Trek New Generation or anything like that. So he was still kind of a theater actor, and most of the actors for that movie are all like foreigners, and they did such a great job. And for those, again, I can't say this enough about David Lynch. If they would have put out the Spice Divers version 3, which is a fan edit and a fan made version, it's the final version of David Lynch's Dune, that would have made money because it made sense. Because if you've never read the books and you just go see the movie, that movie does nothing for you. That movie makes you like question lots of things that was weird. Now I love that movie because not just because the cinematography or just some of the things that were done, because I grew up in the 80s, ladies and gentlemen. I am old man. And because I grew up in the 80s, I was left alone at the age of 7 and 8, probably 5 or 6. And the only thing I had was, used VCR tapes, because this is back when, like, I think you couldn't buy VCR tapes, so you just had to have like two VCRs, one to record, and then one, blank tape, and then whatever. So all I had was old cinema and cinema that you got from wherever. So this was one of my favorite movies growing up as a kid, and the one thing I remembered is the sleeper must awaken. This is why I don't like the new Dune, because the kid doesn't look tough. He doesn't act tough. Uh, you know, he doesn't look like he ever becomes battle hardened. His soul doesn't change. He was never like. I mean, you never feel like he was prepared. And whereas the one guy was just perfect. He wasn't too big. He wasn't too, whatever. And he seemed more battle hardened. Now people will say, "Hey, the sci-fi Dune ones were pretty good," which they weren't bad, and they were probably more accurate. But the one from the 80s really spoke to me. David Lynch really spoke to me from that. And Twin Peaks was good onto itself because of how weird it was. And Eraserhead is just art, just art being art. And if you get a chance to read some of this guy's philosophy or just listen to some of his interviews, David Lynch was really cared about being creative in cinematography in general, and just having something that could stick with people. Like I said, there are certain words from that movie that stick with me, like the sleeper must awaken. In other words, you cannot always be asleep in your life. You can't just float through life. You have to awaken whatever's inside you. If you're a great singer, if you're a good dancer, or if there's something that you do that's really great that could help people or help your family or just whatever, awaken that passion, awaken that feeling inside you, and do not let it sleep. As humans, we have too many gifts that we let sleep or lie dormant, because we try to suppress the sleeper that lies within us rather than waking our full potential to help those, or even help ourselves out of a bad situation. So those are things that we could do as human beings. And I will always appreciate David Lynch's Dune and a lot of his other works, but I just had to just mention it on my personal experience for that. Now, speaking of cinematography and original ideals and great things, I just saw the trailer for Mickey 17, the movie. Now, that stars the kid, well, he's no longer a kid, he's adult, he's a grown ass man now, Robert Patterson, from the Twilight movies. Ah. Yeah, I always have to do that, dude. You will always be tied to that. And of course, the Harry Potter, where you wanted the, if and the thing was that they weren't gonna kill this dude off, and they were gonna, like, he could have actually been Harry Potter, but he's like, no. And I'm like, man, think of those easy checks you would have had, like, for the rest of your life. But that's nor here or there. So uh-huh, is going to be in this movie, and I like the concept for it. It's sci-fi. I love sci-fi, and basically, it's about like, hey, you leave Earth, and you're basically it's almost like a suicide mission. I don't want to give too much away. I want people to watch the trailer. I think it's awesome. I think it's something cool, and that's what we need is in cinema is some original ideas. Don't go back to a movie that's already been made. That's awesome. I mean, unless like it's like inferior when it came to like graphics and stuff. Like you could redo Blade Runner, but you would have to get people who are actually thespians. For those who don't know what thespians are, I consider myself a thespian, which is an actor or an actress. That is a just a word that can be used for everybody. And that means I you get to play pretend. Every day I pretend to want to go to work. Now, no, I am glad I get to go to work because I meet lots of interesting and amazing and attractive people. Yes, I look in the mirror a lot while I'm there at work. There we go. People are like, yeah, okay, dude, daydream all you want. But no, so that's a trailer that people need to check out. And I think it's going to be awesome. I think it's going to be cool. I mean, there's so many things going on in that. And if you watch the extended trailer number two, it just feels like it's something new. It may be something old that happened way back when, but it's like I've been hitting the head a lot, so it's like me no remember. So check out, and I'll say the movie name again, Mickey 17, the trailer. And I think that's going to be interesting. And there's not like there's a lot of good movies that are coming out in the future. So this is something that could be really interesting if people actually care about movies. Um, so check that out. Now, what am I playing in games? Game wise, as you can see behind me, I have my girl sitting outside of her house or her hut or whatever you want to call it. Rise of the Samurais in the background. Now, I was going to play the first Berserker, Kazin. I'm probably saying that name incorrectly. The demo is out for that. Now, the real game will be coming out soon. I have not played it yet, so I can't give you a full thing on it. I'm still playing Indiana Jones for the Xbox X Series as well. Um, and then I've been playing a lot of Madden because I'm like lazy, and you just play something play something that you know. Men are creatures of habit, where we just like to do things that we know, and we like to play new games, and sometimes we go back to old games. Like I still like to play the bouncer for the PlayStation 2. And like that's again, I've said that should be remade numerous times. Hopefully, with the new technology and emulation, translation. I don't even think it's about emulating these old games because these systems, these consoles are powerful enough to do it now. I think it's more about getting the license from these people and then basically sharing the revenue. Because if you could just do it like you can on the PC, and the PC doesn't care about revenue sharing, they're like, well, if someone wants to do it, they just do it. PC is the wild, wild west when it comes to gaming consoles. And I love the fact that it's like that. I wish I had the money to go live in the wild, wild west when it comes to the gaming of a PC gaming system. But when it comes to a console, there's more rules, there's more regulations. So you can't just like, hey, let me put 10 shoe the 10 shoe games from the Xbox and from the PlayStation 2 onto the PlayStation 5 or the Xbox X series. Doesn't work that way. You got to jump through a bunch of legal hoops and get stuff reinstated. Maybe that license or title of someone that worked on it or whatever has some type of ins or out where they have to get some money. So it's a lot of these old games that people want to see come back may not be able to come back because there's too many people want a piece of that pie. And that's what a lot of gamers fail to recognize. And I am one of those gamers sometimes because I want what I want. Uh, but a lot of people don't realize that that pie needs to be shared. Battle Arena Toshinden 1, 2, and 3, and then there was like like another different one. But basically, that guy I think had made enough money, and then like when the other Battle Arena Toshinden was going to come out on the PlayStation Network, the PlayStation One games or whatever, it's like, nah, homie, I'm good. I made my money. I don't need X, Y, and Z. And maybe it's like maybe that's tied into his I'm going to say allegedly, tied into his ex-wife or a partner or somebody, and he don't want them to get no money. And it's like, I got enough money. I don't need to share no more money with some clowns I don't like. So that could be an issue right there. And the Japanese, like they hold lifelong grudges. Like there's just one video that you see every now and then, couple through years, where it's like man doesn't talk to his wife for 20 years because she burnt like his food or something. I'm like, damn. I'm like, my grudge holding is like for a day or two, and that's it. And then like I move past it unless you like really make me mad. And then I'm like, I will hold a grudge. I mean, I can't hold a grudge as long as, women can, because women just think of like, as soon as you mess up like something you did like 20 years ago. Remember that time? Man, I don't remember what happened yesterday. Someone asked me about what happened last week. I will say I have no idea. What'd you say last week on this show? I have no idea. I really don't. I just run my mouth in the time that I'm here, and that's all I know. So, but basically, I'm just playing some rando games. Hoping for especially like 5 new samurai games coming out this year. I would like to play those games, so hopefully they're going to be good. Um, now, uh, let's do a little wrestling talk here. And I know some people are going to check out because they don't like wrestling, but it's going to be 5 minutes. So, Tessa Blanchard, for those who don't know, she's part of TNA Knockouts. That is the female division for TNA Wrestling or Total Impact Wrestling, whichever one you want to call it. And she had had some issues prior in the past, a couple of years ago, that apparently she said the naughty word, the ultimate word of hate and discrimination, the J word. No, 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 she didn't say the J word. She allegedly said the N word. Now, I am of the mindset that if you are a human being and you live on this planet, and the most popular music says that word constantly, and I know that regardless of someone's race, color, creed, or whatever they identify as a human being or an alien or whatever, that when you're in your car alone and you're singing along with the show, you don't just sit there and say, when the N word part comes up, you don't sing it. Everybody sings it. So if that's the case, someone says, "Hey, have you ever said the N word?" Numerous times. Listen to songs, but I'm singing it in the song. I'm singing along with the artist. Am I using it in a derogatory way, even though that word was created by to I think the original origin of that word was to talk about the poor British and the Irish back in the day, for the upstarts, which the word means ignorance or ignorant. Uh, so, it's also used as a term of endearment. And people could say, well, that's the NA and not the hard R. No, the hard R is used as a term of endearment too. Um, but people have gotten too sensitive over the use of the word at the time. And, it's like, oh, well, so and so gets a pass. No, I think everybody gets the pass when they're in their car. Now, let me not slip too far away from what my original point was. So apparently she had said that and that she had beef with other female wrestlers. Now, women hate women more than women hate women or women hate anything else. And this woman had won. She's the only woman that I know of to win the TNA men's division. I mean, remember, it's the world championship. The girl was that good of a wrestler that they put the men's championship on her. It wasn't just that she had the women's championship belt on her; she had the men's championship belt on her. And look, I'm not like simping for the girl because I think she's good looking. The girl's a hard 5, maybe a 4, but the woman, excuse me, can wrestle. She has all the talent in the world when it comes in ring. She wrestles like a man. Her motions, her everything, and she's a little undersized. This is where Rhea Ripley does it so well versus Tessa Blanchard. And Tessa Blanchard does have a pedigree, being the daughter and the stepdaughter of Magnum TA and being the daughter of Tully Blanchard. Okay. So she's got two legends that, she has the legendary genes of Tully Blanchard and her stepfather was Magnum TA. So that's a pretty good winning combination right there. But that's nor here or there. So I think, in my honest opinion, because there's never been no real evidence that ever came out that she said XYZ, and then text messages can be fake now. And in other words, no evidence was shown other than other women hating her and saying that she's mean to other women in the locker room. Congratulations, women don't like women. Ooh, because women see other women as competition regardless if you think a woman is your friend and you're a woman, no, no, no. They see you as competition if neither one of you are married. And then if you are married and she's not married, she may want what you got. So be careful out there, ladies. And be careful out there, men, because that lady's best friend might be trying to make a move on you. You may think, oh, she wants me because she likes me. She don't want you because she likes you, homie. She just likes that her friend, or should I say, she dislikes that her friend is shacking up with you and wants to ruin that, not because she necessarily wants to shack up with you, but because she doesn't like that her competition has found a man or a mate that can do something that someone else couldn't do. That's this is it's a woman thing, bro. Get over it. So, needless to say, she's been blackballed from wrestling to an extent. She just came back after a couple of years off or whatever. Has a great match with Grace. Just a great match. It was a pay per view match. So awesome. They both worked their tails off, and it's like you're a racist. And I'm like, really? You're gonna be chanting that, and you're watching a magnificent match put together by two great female gladiators, or just I'm just gonna say they're just great gladiators, and the unnecessary hate. Now look, heat is good, and if the WWE is looking to get some hate on this girl, and you know that's legit heat. I mean, they legit don't like her, but they don't know the reason why. It's just other than like, well, we think you said, or we heard hearsay that someone said that you said the N word, so you bad. Even though as soon as we leave this facility, we're gonna hop in the car, sing songs that have the N word in them, and but yet, we're not haters. Okay, pal. Uh, if it's like Hitler drunk water too. That's the whole thing. It's like, oh, you're a Nazi. Well, do you drink water? Yeah. Well, Hitler drunk water, so I guess you're a Nazi too. So that's nor here or there. All right, so let me get off the Tessa Blanchard. She's a great wrestler. For those who don't know, check her out. Check out her matches. Now, personally, she could be a piece of trash, but it's coming from other women. It's not coming from dudes. Now, some dudes say it. I'm more inclined to believe it. And if she called like some guy, the N word or something like that, and a racist and derogatory thing, then yes, she probably shouldn't be in the business or get sensitivity training. Maybe she was just raised wrong, and that's a mark on Magnum TA. Now she was raised in, I believe, in North Carolina, but yeah, who knows? It's not a thing against North Carolina because North Carolina has Petey Pablo. And those who don't know, go out or listen to Petey Pablo and listen to the song North Carolina, come on and raise up and take your shirt off, throw it around like a helicopter. Sorry, I don't want to drop any M words in case there's kids listening. Because someone said, my kid and I listen to your program, and sometimes you say naughty words. And I'm like, oh man, I felt really bad when someone told me their kid listens. I'm like, I try to make sure this is like an adult show, but when someone says their kid listens, it's like, and then like drop the F bomb or whatever, and it's like, but it's funny, and like it gets a reaction, and people tend to. It's like, he said the N, not the N word, but he said the F word or whatever. And I was like, so you know, but it gets a reaction, and I think some people are just looking for a reaction sometime. Now, CM Punk, this week on Raw is War, or just Raw is Netflix. I guess it's Raw is Netflix because it's on Netflix now. Said that Hulk Hogan should get in the Rumble and he'll whip his dusty butt in Hulkamania forever. Now, look, there are many reasons to hate Hulk Hogan, the person. The person is a bad person to an extent, and is an excessive liar. Okay. Hulk Hogan, the entertainer who entertained for kids that kids love to see, eat your vitamins, got kids eating vitamins, going to the gym, working out. Hulk Hogan, WCW, NWO type of thing, revitalized wrestling, had an interesting storyline, brought like Jimi Hendrix to people who've never heard Jimi Hendrix. Um, so his theme song for the NWA for NWO, the Bow, 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 ba-dum, bow, bow. So anyway, I don't want to do any more because I'll be copyrighted on that one. But no, and it's just like, okay, Hogan is who he is, and again, Hogan the person, maybe not a good guy. But Hogan, the entertainer, for what he did for kids, for what he did for WWE, Punk, you wouldn't have a job. A lot of people there wouldn't have a job if it wasn't for Hulk Hogan getting butts in the seats back into the day. I mean, he's like the godfather of wrestling. I mean, he deserves to be on the Mount Rushmore. based off of all he did for the wrestling business. The business. And you're about business, you're about making money. And to go after an old man is like 70 something for a cheap pop, knowing the dude can't go, man. I mean, the dude's like technically crippled. And, yes, the dude's a hypocrite and a liar, but most people are hypocrites and liar. Now, if he'd given his life to Christ, which he said he did, who knows? I mean, we all fall from grace. All we could do is get up and try again and try to be better. And look, I was never a Hulk Hogan guy, man. I was a Ronnie Piper guy. Uh, and I was a Macho Man Randy Savage guy because Macho Man was just intense, and he seemed like he believed his stuff. He wasn't just like, "Oh, it's just a gimmick, brother." Like, no, he lived it. And he didn't live it as much as Flair did. I mean, Flair lived that gimmick to an extent. So many great documentaries on that guy, man. And you know, even Flair in his racism, because what was it? Someone accused, and it was like a credible source that accused him, and basically that same source let Hogan off the hook and said Hogan's a good guy, and that's Teddy Long, who's in the WWE Hall of Fame, and he is an African American, and he even said, Ric Flair called him the N word, and called him boy, and so, but yet Ric Flair gets a pass because people say, oh, well, Rick was just trying to help him out, and Rick was trying to do X, Y, Z, so forth and so on. Well, and that same person vouches for Hulk Hogan and says Hulk Hogan's a good guy and never did him wrong. Stevie Ray and Booker T both vouch for him. They have no reason to vouch for him at the Hall of Fame. Both of them vouched for him at the Hall of Fame. They had no reason to do it, and they did. So I'm just saying, be careful, who you accuse of being the racist in the room or whatever. And look, I love Rick to death, but that does sound like something Rick would say back in the '80s when he's high, allegedly, or drunk or whatever. Because even though he's a Minnesota boy, uh, yeah, it seems like something that possibly come out of his mouth. Where Hogan is like, I think Hogan is originally from California. I don't think he's originally from. I think he's from Florida. He might be from Florida. I don't think he's from Florida. I think he resides in Florida because of the taxes. But I think he is originally from California. So those are two different things. But Hogan to me has never did anything other than, like I said, just been a complete and total liar about many things. And he made this like it may be a charade, but I understand when Hulk Hogan was on a radio station that he's like, oh yeah, Birdman and other people let me say the N word and all this other stuff, and it's like, oh, they call me my, drops the N word and so forth and so on. I'm like, dude, you can't do the honorary N-word pass unless your people are with you, and then they give you the pass. If you're by yourself, that pass doesn't work. That's not how it works, man. You got to have people with you. It's like, no, 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 I have my pass, and then you forget your card, and you get the hell kicked out of you. Uh, Shout out to Party Animal, the movie. I love that movie. Where and I've said this numerous times, and for some reason, my wife listens to this podcast and she says, "Oh my God, he's talking about that horrible movie again." Yes, Party Animal is a horrible '80s montage movie, but the greatest part in that movie was the kid is trying, the college kid's trying to get laid or whatever, and he shows up to a an African American bar or party or whatever, and he says, "What's going on?" Drops the N word. Music stops. Everybody's looking at him. Basically, pushes this black dude away from this beautiful, beautiful black girl, and like, hello, darling. Like, get around, take a look. Hound dog done rent the book. I'm a man. I'm a brother. And then all these black dudes are all around him. They're all mad, and he's looking up. He's like, I'm a honky. They all beat the living hell out of him. It's one of the funniest things in movies, man. I'm surprised that clip ain't somewhere where people can just watch that over and over and over again. When I talked about the power of cinema, that is just in my mind forever. and it's one of the funniest clips. They beat the living hell out of old boy and put like a pick in his head. It's so good. Okay, but I'm just saying Hulk Hogan may want to just change his tune, and Punk. That's the easy target, picking on an old man who can't go. I mean, if you and him were the same age, you know, Hogan probably stretch you and whoop your ass. And being honest, because he's bigger than you, he's stronger than you, and at that age, he could still go. So don't pick on the old man, dude. There's no point in that. I mean, he's elderly. It's like if you're picking a fight with someone that's over 65, because that's the age of retirement in America, you know, kind of a scumbag. And that'll make the resident Gerald very happy that I picked on. I didn't pick on him, but I went on about CM Punk in a negative way. So, all right. So let me end this and give some shout outs to people and say thank you to the fans, man. Please like, share, subscribe this show. Share it with the people you don't like. Share it with the homeless guy. It's like, hey man, you need some food. Yeah, I need some food. Well, guess what? I ain't got no food for you. But check this out. Next time you're at the local library, go to YouTube, go to Spotify, go to iHeartRadio, listen to the Hunter Houston E.S.G podcast, and listen to the episode where he says all these types of crazy, weird things. So that's kind of cool. And it's like, man, that's the best advice you can give me. And then basically, he follows you, and then the homeless person, like, keys your car or something. But no, seriously, please like, share, subscribe to the show, and thank you to all the fans out there, man. Sorry I did not get to any emails. Uh, I will next time. I promise I will do an email show of just me reading off emails from people next episode. But I really wanted to get some stuff on my chest. Please check out Apollyon 2000XX. Go to I have in the link in the descriptions. Uh, their startup for their Kickstarter. Please check out their comic book. Give them some love. Show them some love. Go to the website if you can and show them some love. Share their message out there. If you love independent comics, these are the people you definitely want to help. Um, Again, shout out to my boys, kicking it all over the place. And again, thank y'all so much, man. Oh, special shout out to the listeners in Guatemala. Um, I will eventually learn how to say thank you there because I know it's like I don't think it's just regular Spanish. I think it's Portuguese. I think it may be Portuguese there, but if it is regular Spanish, muchas gracias, mi amigas, senoritas. Shout out to the few people who listen in Europe, Great Britain, across the pond. I'd like to have, because I'm Irish and Indian, I would love to have some Irish people listen. And I've been trying to learn Gaelic, my grandmother's language. I have yet to learn it because I guess I'm not Irish enough. I'm like I can't retain it. It's been hit too many times in the head. Um, so there's that. Shout out to Germany. Your country's in peril. You need to get these Auslanders out there. Shout out to the few people over there who listen to me from Germany. Shout out to um, Argentina. Shout out to all the countries that listen to me worldwide. Thank you guys so much. Please like, share the show. And as always, again, if you send emails, um, send them to my Instagram. My emails. I've been like, I don't know. I've been having problems with my emails for a while, but send them to Sabretron13 at Instagram if you can. Follow me at Instagram. Follow me here. Like I said, like, share, subscribe to the show. My Instagram is more of just like dank memes, dark memes, stuff about music. I didn't get to music this week. Um, Look, there are a lot of great soundtracks for a lot of great movies. Dune soundtrack from Toto. Check that out. Awesome. Well done. So there I gave some music shout outs and listen to Toto. So thank you so much. Please have a safe, wonderful night. And everyone out there, aliens, people of Earth, whatever you identify as. Thank you so much.